And again, there's no weapons, nothing listed in the vehicle, man? Okay. I got you.
Welcome to Enforced, where we uncover the world's craziest encounters between police officers and law-abiding citizens. Today we're looking at a case in Volusia County, Daytona, where two police officers tried to illegally search a man's car before driving him into a ditch, causing injuries and damage. On October 23, 2020, Officer Marvell Tucker and Officer James McKenzie of the Daytona Beach Police Department were on patrol when they pulled over a driver who broke a traffic law by failing to stop at an intersection. The driver, 40 years old Kerry Jarvis, was not aware that he had broken the law, but promptly stopped when the officers flashed their lights. Officer Marvell Tucker and his partner cautiously approached Jarvis's vehicle. The whole incident was captured in Officer McKenzie's body cam. Officer Tucker wastes no time and politely asks Jarvis for his details.
Yes, sir.
Where you coming from?
From the gas station.
This is a standard question we often hear during traffic stops. This interaction may seem quite ordinary so far, but traffic stops can take unexpected turns, and that's where things get interesting. Officer Tucker goes ahead to inquire which gas station and asks him if he needs to worry about anything when Jarvis confirms that he's all good. Officer McKenzie also inquired if Jarvis had any weapons in the vehicle, and Jarvis confirmed that there were no weapons in the car. Officer Tucker heads towards their vehicle to check the papers while Officer McKenzie monitors Jarvis. Jarvis has been cooperative so far. Before long, he and Officer McKenzie start off a conversation with Jarvis, informing the officer that he has been on his best behavior recently.
Yeah, I've been staying out of trouble. I don't want no problems. Been working, doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
When's the last time you got in trouble?
Like 5, well, actually I had went to jail when I first got out of prison. And then, well, they dropped the charge because it wasn't mine anyway.
When'd you get out of prison?
9 months ago.
9 months ago? What'd you serve time for? Selling drugs? What kind of drugs? What kind of drugs?
Crack.
Jarvis goes on to tell Officer McKenzie about his time in the prison. He revealed that he had served his years for the drugs charge and 13 years for other charges, making it a total of 19 years in prison. He then informs the policeman that he is 40 years old and has learned his lesson. He revealed that he has given up on that life and is totally legal. Officer McKenzie also learned that Jarvis was a sauté chef and a father of 2. Jarvis was not unaware of the impression his tattoos and big chains had. He informs Officer McKenzie that he knows his dressing and appearance give the impression that he is still into his old life of crime, and that he gets profiled and stereotyped because of his tattoos and shiny pieces of jewelry.
I just hate that I still gotta wear all this shit here and look like I get fucking stereotyped, man. It's just me though. It's my look. That's all it is.
Jarvis was right on the money about the effect his appearance has on people. It seems his appearance also has the same effect on Officer McKenzie. Jarvis's willing divulsion of his past only increases Officer McKenzie's suspicion. The officer inquires about his other charges again.
What was that arrest for that they dropped, you said?
Possession.
Possession?
Yeah, but it wasn't me. It was like 3 people went to jail.
Oh, so it was mutual possession because nobody admitted to it.
Jarvis goes on to assure the officer that he has learned his lesson and has been an upright citizen, paying his bills, doing a legit job, and staying out of trouble. But by this time, it seems that Officer McKenzie has already made up his mind about who Jarvis is. So, he inquires for the second time if any weapons are in the car.
And again, there's no weapons, nothing listed in the vehicle, man? Okay. I got you.
After a while, Jarvis starts to get worried. He has been a model citizen since coming out of prison and has cooperated with the officers. Is he being detained? What's taking the time? So he asks Officer McKenzie if he has done anything illegal.
What I did so wrong,
Officer McKenzie explains that he failed to stop at an intersection. He explains the rules regarding stopping at intersections and calmly walked him through removing non-transparent materials that could obstruct his view from his rear view.
Did he tell you why he pulled you over?
Yeah, I didn't stop at the little thing right there, coming out of the thing.
Oh yeah, when you're exiting private property, crossing a state sidewalk or city sidewalk onto a city roadway, you must treat it like an actual stop sign, coming to a complete stop and then proceeding into the intersection. Also, you can't have this stuff hanging from your rear view. Because, I mean, per statute, it is illegal. Because it's technically obstructed driver's view.
The Florida statute, Chapter 316.2004, states that no person shall drive any motor vehicle with any sign, poster, or other non-transparent material upon the front windshield, side wings, or side or rear windows. The idea is to remove anything blocking the driver's view. It makes sense for Officer McKenzie to point this out. Jarvis heeds Officer McKenzie's instructions and removes the accessories hanging from his rear mirror. He admitted that he didn't know the rules regarding stopping at intersections and having accessories on your rear mirror. Officer McKenzie even admits that it's a minor issue.
Because, I mean, per statute, it is illegal. Because it's technically obstructed driver's view. Because you can't have anything that didn't come with the vehicle, etc., hanging from the rear view mirror.
Not that.
Nah, you good, man. It's a minor, petty little thing.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
So far, it seems everything has been going fine. A couple of minutes later, Officer Tucker returns with the papers and informs Jarvis that he will be getting a warning. He then asks Jarvis if there's anything in the vehicle that he needs to be concerned about. It's a standard inquiry to ensure the safety of both the officers and the driver. Jarvis promptly responds, "No, sir," indicating that there's nothing in the car that should raise any red flags. That should do it, right? Well, not for Officer Tucker and McKenzie. The officers seem to have some suspicions as Tucker asks 2 more times if he can search the vehicle. Jarvis, maintaining his innocence, firmly declines the request. He asserts he didn't do anything wrong and questions why a search would be necessary.
You got anything like here that I need to worry about?
No, sir.
Search the car?
No, sir. No.
Can you search the car?
No, sir. For what? I didn't do nothing wrong previously.
Just asking. You gotta ask.
No, I'm good.
Understandably, Jarvis wants to protect his rights and privacy. The Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution grants him this right to privacy, which prevents him from being subjected to unlawful searches by law enforcement agents. However, there's also a law that allows police officers to search vehicles if they have probable cause. But in this case, there was no probable cause. Jarvis has been cooperative and straightforward. Officer McKenzie takes charge at this point. He starts looking for reasons that would allow him to search Jarvis's vehicle. He expresses his concerns, stating that they don't know if Jarvis might be hiding weapons, guns, or even grenades. As the minutes pass, the situation intensifies.
So you said we can't search the car? Okay.
What? I didn't do nothing wrong for you to search the car.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. While my partner was behind you and prior to activating his lights and sirens, he observed furtive movements, which is movements into certain areas. So we're going to check where those movements were and only where those movements were, okay? You step out of the vehicle, please.
What?
Step out of the vehicle, please.
What?
Undo your seatbelt. Because we don't know if you're hiding weapons, guns, grenades, anything, man. We're doing our job, so...
Officer McKenzie stated that his partner observed furtive movements, but both officers did not communicate throughout the video, which raises the question: how did Officer McKenzie get the information that Jarvis was making furtive movements from his partner? This lends credence to the idea that these officers wanted to search Jarvis's car illegally, and were only finding reasons to do so.
Get out of the car.
No, that's bullshit,
Get out of the car.
man. No, that's bullshit. No, I'm not doing
Get out of
nothing,
the car.
man. No, don't grab me now.
You're about to go to jail.
Don't grab me, man.
Jarvis rightly refuses their request to enter and search his car, and while Officer McKenzie holds onto the front side of the car, Jarvis drives away, throwing Officer McKenzie off. During this time, Officer Tucker was already inside the car, and the struggle with Jarvis resulted in the car crashing into a ditch. Jarvis was held at gunpoint until Officer McKenzie arrived. Jarvis was then taken into custody and charged with 3 felony charges. Jarvis was held without bond and spent a year in jail. Fortunately, a judge saw the footage of the search and noted that Jarvis was in the right, and if the officers had not tried to search his car illegally, there would have been no injuries. Following this, the state dropped all charges against Jarvis. An internal investigation into the matter by the Daytona Police Department revealed that the officers had broken about 3 departmental rules, and they were rightfully given a written reprimand. But for Jarvis, that wasn't enough. In March 2023, Jarvis sued the 2 officers and the Daytona Police Department. The case is still ongoing at the time of this recording. Be sure to check out our previous video where we cover several more outrageous police encounters.